Hi, you guys. It's Yaz. And today, what I'm going to talk about is how do you know if your partner is a narcissist? There's a lot of people that ask me this question on social media, in the posts and everything else. They're like, I'm not sure if I'm with a narcissist. Well, the first thing that you need to do is know about what a narcissist is, okay? And understand that narcissism is on a spectrum. So, somebody could have a couple of narcissistic traits and be selfish and, have low empathy and everything like that. It's going to tell you how narcissistic somebody is. But the way you're going to know whether your partner is a narcissist, a lot of times, is by how they fight. How does this person fight? How does this person deal with conflict? Okay? This is a large part about whether you're dealing with a narcissist. In other words, if you're dealing with a narcissist and you're dealing with a covert narcissist, that don't like confrontation. Covert narcissists don't like confrontation. So they avoid confrontation, direct confrontation. They'll stonewall you. In the middle of a sentence, they'll walk out on you. They'll disappear. They'll ghost you. When you are trying to resolve conflict with them, or you're trying to hold them accountable for something that they've done, they will not own it. So the first thing that you have to look at with your partner is, do they take accountability? That's the first aspect when trying to figure out whether the person you're with is narcissistic, Will they own when they're wrong? Are they able to stick to the topic when you bring it up? A narcissist is going to flip the blame on you. This is a sure sign, you guys, that you're dealing with somebody who's narcissistic. They will always flip it over on you and say, well, you're the one who did that, or you did that. It's your fault, or something like that. It's never their fault. It's always got to be your fault. The minute they flip that blame, ding, I'm dealing with somebody who's narcissistic. That's one of the traits, okay? So we talk about, are they accountable? The other thing that you want to look at is this person transparent? Can they talk about the topic that you bring up, or do they deflect? Narcissists love to deflect. In other words, they'll start giving you a word salad and start bringing up stories about other things, or they'll bring up something that you did 7 years ago and, try to discredit you. A narcissist is going to try to discredit you, discredit your character when you try to hold them accountable, okay? This is a large clue that you're dealing with somebody who's narcissistic. Now, another clue that you could be with a narcissistic partner is that they will give you indirect digs, okay? In other words, they'll say something like, oh, I like that dress that you have on, but it would look better if you were a thinner person, okay? They'll say something like that to, you can't call them out on it and say, well, what are you, insulting me, or something like that. Or they'll make a comment and say that they're joking when they're really not joking, and then they'll sit there and they'll call you sensitive, okay? You've got to go by how you feel internally. If the narcissist makes a sarcastic remark, and then they say, oh, I was only joking, or something like that, and you're feeling low about yourself, then trust your gut, okay? This person is making you feel low about yourself. So this is exactly what a narcissist will do. They will cut you up indirectly if you're dealing with a covert narcissist. An overt narcissist will cut you up directly and tell you right to your face what they don't like about you. And you've got to realize that if they're making you feel low, they're not in your corner. A narcissist won't build you up. They'll rip you down because they're jealous. They're competitive. And they don't want you to have your self-confidence because it would make them feel lower. So they're going to bring you down to raise themselves up. And if you're in a relationship with somebody who's constantly insulting you, or, trying to pretend like, oh, they're giving you constructive criticism, but it's always pointed, or, they're trying to hurt you in some way, Yes, you could be dealing with somebody who's very narcissistic, and you have to recognize these things. The other things that you have to recognize, and you really need to study covert narcissists, because a lot of people are with covert narcissists and they don't realize it till years later. Oh my God, I'm with a covert narcissist. I thought they just have a hard time communicating or something like that. How does this person communicate with you? If you're with a covert narcissist, they are not going to open up. Okay? You're always going to feel disconnected with a covert narcissist because they will never fully open up and be completely vulnerable with you and tell you exactly how they're feeling, all right? Or what they're thinking of you. They always hold back because they do not trust. So you've got to go by, okay, how is this person when I have conflict with them? Do they take accountability, or do they avoid the conflict? Do they run? Do they ghost on me or something like that when I bring up something that they don't like? If I say something that they don't like, how is this person responding to you? Okay? Are they able to sit down and have a conversation about it and be transparent and hear what you have to say? Because what the deal with a narcissist is, most of the time they don't even want to hear what you have to say. If it's not to their liking, they're going to either walk out on you, they're going to insult you, they're going to blame you, they're going to get in your face and rage at you, okay? They can never just sit down and talk about it. And that's one of the clues that you're dealing with somebody narcissistic, because they can't sit down and talk about it because it means that they have to be wrong. They have to take accountability. Now, accountability is one issue when you're dealing with somebody narcissistic. Another issue when you're dealing with somebody narcissistic, okay, is that narcissists, they have no empathy. And, that's how you're going to know how narcissistic somebody is how much empathy they have for you. So if you're going through something emotional, all right, maybe you're feeling down, maybe you have anxiety, maybe, things aren't going good at your job, or maybe you're just in a rut or something like that. Is your partner empathetic to you? Does your partner care? Are they comforting? Are they kind? Okay? A narcissist is going to be unsympathetic. They're not going to be kind about anything that you're going through. So this is one of the things that you have to realize. Narcissists don't have empathy. So if you go to a narcissist, and God help you if you ever go to a covert narcissist, okay, they're the ones that'll really leave you for dead. But if you go looking for that narcissist is going to have no sympathy for you. They're not going to want to hear it, okay? Or they're going to have an attitude like, well, you did this to yourself or something like that. If you're feeling this way, it's because you make bad decisions, or they're going to disappear on you because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to be burdened. They don't care about your problems. They're worried about themselves. So if you're dealing with somebody who's like that, who, doesn't want to hear about your problems, when you reach out to them by text or by phone, they ghost on you. This is what covert narcissists do, by the way. They will disappear on you when you're going through something tough and you look to them for emotional support. And then they'll come back and they'll make excuses and say they were busy, or they didn't get the text, or their phone died, or their phone was in the other room. There's always an excuse with a covert narcissist, okay? It's all bullshit. So understand this, all right? People that are in your corner will be there for you, okay? And when you're down and out, that's when you're going to see who the narcissist is and who the narcissist isn't. And a person who's a narcissist is not going to be there for you when you're down and out. That's the sure sign, you guys. Trust me when I tell you, because I'm telling you this from experience. You'll know when you're dealing with a narcissist if they're not there for you when you're down, okay? Narcissists will bail, they will abandon, they will ghost you, and they don't want to be bothered. And in some cases, they're actually going to like it because they're secretly jealous and they want to see you fail. They want to see you sad because they're like misery loves company, especially covert narcissists. Misery loves company. They pretend to be in your corner, but they're really not, because when you turn to them looking for their support, their emotional support, they're nowhere to be found. They disappear on you. Why? Because they're not a true friend. They're not a true partner. and they're not really there for you. They just pretend to be there for you. And this is how you're going to know whether you're dealing with somebody who's a narcissistic partner or a narcissistic friend or something like that. They will not be there for you when you're going through something rough, or when you're dealing with sickness or something comes up. That's a sure sign you're dealing with somebody narcissistic. Other signs of somebody narcissistic, you guys, they're constantly sarcastic. People that use sarcasm, it's a coward's way of getting their point across, because they can't come out and tell you, something like they think you're fat or something, or they think you're stupid or something. So they'll make an indirect, sarcastic remark. Watch out for people like that. Well, like when somebody says to you, I could be very sarcastic and something like that. The first thing that should come into your mind is, I'm dealing with an asshole, okay? And their sarcasm is going to be directed at me one day, because they have to use sarcasm because they can't come out and directly tell me what's on their mind, all right? That's another sign. So how they deal with conflict, are they sarcastic? And you also have to watch the nonverbal clues of somebody. Do they roll their eyes when you talk like you're crazy? Do they smirk at you, okay? They keep their mouth shut and they give you that fake smirk, all right? When you talk to them, do they have their back to you and make like they don't hear you? Those are all things a covert narcissist does to invalidate you. And that's another clue that will tell you if you're dealing with a narcissistic partner. A narcissistic partner will never validate you, okay? In other words, they'll never say, oh, you're right, or I understand what you're going through, or something like that. They're going to dismiss you, okay? A narcissist is going to dismiss your feelings. They're going to try to make you feel small. They're going to call you negative. They're going to say that you have no friends. They're going to put you down, put your character down. They're going to, when you come up against them and you challenge them on something, the first thing a covert narcissist is going to do is say you have mental issues, because that's the goal of a covert narcissist, is to make you look crazy, okay? So if they call you crazy or something like that, and you're talking about a legitimate matter, a legitimate fact, and they're just calling you crazy or they're insulting you, ding, ding, I'm dealing with a narcissistic person, okay? They're not dealing with the issue I'm bringing up to them. Instead, they're insulting me and flipping the blame, okay? So they don't take accountability, they flip the blame, they insult you, they don't come out and tell you what they're thinking. This is what covert narcissists do all the time. They never tell you what they're thinking. They pretend everything's all right, but there's always an undercurrent when you're dealing with a covert narcissist. You'll never feel like you're completely with that person. In other words, when you're with a covert narcissist and you're sitting on the couch with them, you're never going to feel 100% connected to that person, okay? Because they never let you all in. There's always a wall up with a covert narcissist, all right? This is what you got to understand when you're dealing with these people. So if you feel uncomfortable with this person, if you feel like you're walking on eggshells, and that would be the case generally if you're dealing with a malignant narcissist who could get violent, who might punch the wall or get in your face and try to intimidate you so that you shut your mouth up, okay? Malignant narcissists will try to threaten you, okay, by getting in your face or through physical injury or something like that, so that they can control you with violence, all right? A covert narcissist is going to control you with silence. This is what they'll do. They'll give you the silent treatment all the time because you said something they don't like. So how are you going to know you're dealing with a narcissistic person? Tell them something that they don't want to hear and see how they respond to it. That will tell you, are they able to deal with what you're telling them if it's something they don't like, or are they going to attack you, insult you, walk out on you, give you the silent routine, or they're going to gaslight you and they're going to confuse your brain, okay? And they do that by saying, I don't know what you're talking about, or it didn't happen this way, or, They bring up something totally different. They bring in the word salad. They bring in other things to confuse your mind so that they deflect off the original topic that you brought up to them. This is why I tell you, you've got to be fucking focused when you're dealing with a narcissist. You got to be on your game, okay? You've got to be like a prosecutor that goes into a courtroom and you know those facts and you know whatever argument they're going to come back at you with, you know how to, have your rebuttal towards it, all right? So you know how to handle these people so that they can't come back, every which way and say something different, because once they gaslight you, boom, you're being gaslit, you disengage and you say to yourself, I am dealing with a toxic person. I will not get the truth. I will not get transparency. And this is a sure sign that you are dealing with somebody narcissistic, okay? So if you're never able to resolve conflict, obviously you're dealing with a narcissist. And another thing that narcissists do all the time, okay, especially covert narcissists, is when they have conflict with you, they will walk out, come back, and not want to bring up that argument, okay? They don't want to deal with it because it means they got to face shame. They got to take ownership of when they're wrong, and this is something they don't want to do. So very typical of these covert narcissists is that they will say, well, let's just move on from here, okay? They're going to want to sweep it under the rug, okay? But the problem with that is if you don't acknowledge the problem, you will never resolve the problem. And now you have this problem under the rug smoldering, okay? And you may go okay for a little while with that narcissist, but guess what? That problem's going to surface again because it was never resolved. It was never resolved. So it's going to surface again. It's going to irritate you. It's going to eat away at you. And eventually you're going to either explode or that narcissist is going to explode, okay? Because you never resolved the conflict. And this is the thing. When you're dealing with a narcissist, you can't resolve conflict with them, all right? They don't want to hear what you have to say. They're not going to acknowledge what you have to say. They're not going to validate you, and you have to fly that flag and walk out and say, you know what? I'm dealing with a toxic person. They'll never own it. They're never going to change, and I need to get away from this shit, all right? Okay? This is what you have to do. Now, if you have kids, it's a little tricky, all right? And I did a podcast on divorcing the narcissist. Go listen to it and everything like that. But what you have to do, you guys, is you have to know that you're dealing with a toxic person, and you have to accept it and say to yourself, can I live with this? Because they're not going to change. Or I need to get out of this because I don't want to live like this the rest of my life with somebody who can't take accountability, and I have to constantly appease the narcissist in order to keep the peace. And this is what happens, especially when you're dealing with a very toxic narcissist. You find yourself constantly appeasing that narcissist, giving in to that narcissist so that you could have peace in your house. In other words, you won't bring up topics because it will upset the narcissist, and they'll either rage or give you the silent treatment. All right. So if you're seeing this kind of shit going on in your house, ding, ding, I'm dealing with a toxic narcissistic partner. All right, you guys. So recognize this and understand you've got to educate yourself. Knowledge is power. Believe me when I tell you, I'm living proof of this. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you're going to recognize that toxicity, and the more you're not going to fall prey to the bullshit of the narcissist, okay? Because the only way a narcissist can manipulate somebody is if somebody doesn't know, okay? So that's why you're going to tune yourself up. You're going to tune your brain up, and you're going to read up about narcissism and what narcissists do and their behavior and the things, how they act, okay, and everything like that, and you're going to know it. And then you're going to really recognize, okay, I'm dealing with toxic here. I'm dealing with toxic. I need to just, disengage, because there is no resolving conflict with a toxic person, because they will not acknowledge anything that you have to say, or they will not validate you. So you got to fly that flag and step away from it, okay? Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with mess. And if you try to take a narcissist on toe-to-toe, guess what? You're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy, and you're going to affect your health because you're going to get all stressed out. It's not worth it. They don't care. Even if you're speaking the facts, they do not care, okay? You're dealing with toxic. Ding, toxic. Step back and let me just do what I got to do here, okay? And this is how you'll know whether you're dealing with a toxic narcissistic partner, okay? They play games. If 2 and 2 equals 4, 2 and 2 doesn't equal 3. So if you're seeing confusion, narcissists create confusion with their lies and manipulation. If you've got to question it, you know that there's something not transparent about it and that there's got to be a lie somewhere going on, okay? Because when people are truthful and when people are genuine, you don't have to sit there and question this shit, okay? You just know, okay, I'm dealing with somebody that's, speaking the truth. But a narcissist doesn't speak the truth. They speak bullshit. So you have to recognize when somebody is talking crap to you, okay? Hate to be so raw about it, but some people got to hear it like this to wake you up so that you recognize it and you don't waste your time. Time is precious, you guys. Do not waste your life with these toxic, narcissistic people. You will regret it later on. Listen to us other veterans who have been through it. We're trying to save your life, okay? So if you see toxic, you've got to get out of it, all right? Unless you're willing to put up with that crap and live in misery day in and day out and deal with a roller coaster relationship, high and lows. But if you think that narcissist is going to change, it's never going to happen. This is how they've been since they were a child, and nothing's going to change them at this point. They've already been molded to who they are, all right? So I hope you're able to recognize it and listen to what I'm saying about the clues that these people give you, okay? Have a great day, and please share the podcast. Hi, you guys, it's Yaz, and I want to tell you about my 2 books on Amazon. The first book is Regain Your Power. It's all about power and relationship. Who has the power in the relationship? And it goes into all of that, okay? The other book is Signs He's Not Into You, He's Wasting Your Time, okay? Check it out. It gives you a lot of good clues as to whether you're with somebody who's a real one or somebody who's just going to waste your time. You could read them both with Kindle's free trial membership. So check it out. Link is in the podcast description. If you guys are having a problem in your dating or relationship, or you're dealing with somebody maybe that's narcissistic, you don't know if they're a narcissist, or you're just having problems, you're in a toxic relationship, and you need some clarity on it, go to the link in the podcast description for my website where I offer email and phone coaching. If you have a quick question, just a quick question, and you want to get a video sent back to you answering your question, there's also a link there for Vizio where I will send you a personalized video answering your question. Hi, you guys. I just want to let you know that the Game Exposed now has their merchandise available. Check out the link in the bio, and you could go check it out. There's cool hoodies, cool sweatpants, cool hats. So go to the bio for the link. And also, don't forget to follow me on Facebook at The Game EXP 123, and also on Instagram, The Game EXP 123. Okay? And have a great day.